Now, there's this big problem in society, and nobody seems to want to speak up about it. So, God help me. If nobody wants to speak about this shit, then God damn it, I will. Because I caught the motherfucking Holy Ghost this morning when I was brushing my teeth. I look in the mirror, and I see the physical manifestation of Jesus Christ staring at me in the mirror, my nigga. And I realize that in the mirror, it is my reflection. It is my fucking responsibility to start preaching on y'all niggas. Everybody nowadays cares way too much about what the next person thinking about them. And it's to the point where they'll hold somebody else's opinion at a higher standard than their own opinion. Now, am I saying you should not care what anybody thinks about you whatsoever? No, because it's a lot more complicated than that. And you're probably never gonna be to the point where you don't care about what anybody thinks about you whatsoever unless you're a goddamn psychopath. So in this video, I'm gonna be explaining my general philosophy about people and what they think about you, and whether or not you should care, and if so, how much or how little.
Bells riding downtown, I'ma shut this shit down. On the fire right now, I'ma shut this shit down. Yeah, he tough with a crowd, I'ma shut his shit down.
So if you don't know what a dichotomy is, it's described as a division or contrast between two things that are or are represented as being opposed or entirely different from one another. This is essentially the concept of non-duality, where opposite ideas are not considered to be two separate concepts. Instead, they are thought to be the same concept, just that there are two opposite ends of the concept, as if it were two sides of the same coin. Heads is opposite to tails. Now, the reason that this is relevant to what people think about you, because whether you decide to care about what people think about you or not care about what people think about you, whichever path that you choose to walk, you will either gain loneliness or companionship. Because if you care about what people think about you, to a certain extent, you'll have more people around you, because if you're constantly thinking about what other people think of you, you will alter your behavior to appeal to the other people rather than appealing to yourself, increasing the likelihood that you will have companionship. Now, conversely, if you don't care about what people think about you, to a certain extent, your behavior will be more appealing to yourself rather than the others around you, making you more likely to experience loneliness. Now, what I have described to you is a dichotomy. The answer to the question of whether or not you should care about what people think about you or not is actually pretty complicated, and the answer to this question isn't as simple as yes, you should care or no, you shouldn't. I actually think there's a little bit of middle ground. There are reasons that you should care about what other people think about you, and then there are reasons that you should not care what other people think about you. I think to live the best life possible, you have to balance these two concepts. So now I'm gonna explain where I stand on this whole concept.
Why? I get to go out to the little bag home. You thought she was up, nigga. No, my bitch watch this no. Do what I want. He sit on his phone. What's wrong?
Now, I'm not gonna sit up here and act as if I don't have any friends, because that's simply not the case. Now, it is true that I don't have many people that I would call my friend, but I still have a handful of people that I would give that title to. Of those people that I would call my friend, I do not need them whatsoever. Like, it's cool to be around them and whatnot, don't get me wrong, but I am not codependent on them. All of my friends would be okay with having to not see me very often, and it's not because we hate each other, but it's because that's how life works. If me or one of my friends feels like that we have to do something different or walk a different path, and in doing so would cause us to see each other less frequently, we both expect each other to go do our own shit and focus on ourselves. It's not like we wouldn't do something just because that we wouldn't be able to see the other person as much. That type of friendship is not actually friendship. That's Stockholm syndrome. You're essentially a hostage, and vice versa for the other person. If your friend would look at you differently for doing something that was better for your life, that shouldn't be your friend in the first place.
I didn't know you when I came in, so I had to get acquainted. The way I came, Hall of Fame did. She a my player, how she drained it. And I'm talking wet on the beat, I told baby put me where the drain is. And I know she feeling me, hold on, finna put it where her face is.
No, although I am extremely antisocial, I still do want to be a good person. And for the most part, I don't care about what other people think of me, but I do care about what I think of myself. So if enough people think that I am a bad person or that I'm a piece of shit, I'd actually kind of care a little bit, because it would just be fucking delusional to assume that everybody doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about and everybody is wrong and their claims are baseless. So if enough people are calling me a piece of shit, I'd actually take that as some constructive criticism and work on bettering myself as a human being.
I ain't love a hoe yet, cause I'm steady using drugs. I'm on the drugs. Shorty on my line, she like what's up. I think it's so cute.
So in conclusion, it's not that you should or shouldn't care about what other people think of you. It's that you have to balance these two ideas in a healthy manner, and you have to decide when you should and should not care about what somebody else would think of you. Now, with that being said, like the video if you enjoyed, and that's pretty much it. I'll see y'all in the next one.